Good morning. Today we are doing CO16. I can divide fractions and mixed numbers. So we are continuing that work with our fractions. First thing we need to know about dividing fractions is what a reciprocal is. A reciprocal is two non-zero numbers whose product is 1. So 2/3 and 3/2 are reciprocals. They're the opposite. So our numerator becomes the denominator, and the denominator becomes the numerator. That's our reciprocal. It's flipping them. Using reciprocals to divide. To divide by any non-zero number multiplied by its reciprocal. So you flip the division symbol to the multiplying, and you flip the second fraction only to its reciprocal. So if we had 3/4 divided by 2/3, we keep that 3/4, but we flip 2/3 to become 3/2, and we flip that dividing to multiplying. And then we do our multiplying fractions that we just worked on yesterday. So dividing a fraction by a fraction. 3/8 divided by becomes multiplying, and our second fraction, we do our reciprocal. Then you can do multiplying straight across. 3 times 4 is 12, 8 times 1 is 8. Then you have to see, is it improper? Can I make it proper? And then you have to simplify your fraction. I can divide a 4 out of both 4 and 8 to get 1/2. If we do our cross simplifying, we can look to see what we can divide out, and we can simplify right from the start. I can divide that 4 out right from the beginning. So now it becomes 3/2 times 1/1. So that is 3/2. 2 goes into 3 one time with 1/2 left over. We get the same answer. So if we look at 6/7 times 14/5, when we flip dividing to multiplying, we flip our second fraction to its reciprocal. Just the second fraction. You can multiply going across. We can't cross simplify for this one. 6 times 14 is 84. 7 times 5 is 35. That is improper. I can take 35 out of 84 2 times. 2 times 35 is 70. So that would leave me 14 left. And I can divide a 7 out of both of those. 14 divided by 7 is 2. So we need our whole number still. Don't forget to carry that whole number over. 35 divided by 7 is 5. So we end up with 2 2/5. Bria. Oh, you're right. We could have cross simplified that one. Thank you. I could have divided that 7 out right from the start. Sometimes when we do our math quickly, we miss that. So we could have cross simplified right at the beginning, or you can divide the 7 out at the end. Let's look at the bottom section. Dividing a fraction by a whole number, it's the same thing as multiplying by that whole number. You put a 1 under it. So when you have that whole number, you just put a 1 under it to make its fraction. Then you're going to rewrite it. When I switch from dividing to multiplying, I find my reciprocal. So a 6/1 becomes a 1/6. So that would be 9/60. You could cross simplify. I can divide a 3 out of both, so it becomes 3/20. 7/12. Dividing becomes multiplying. 4/1 becomes 1/4. And that becomes 7/48. Dividing two mixed numbers. Just like when we multiplied those mixed numbers, we had to turn them improper. We don't divide the whole numbers and then divide the fractions. You have to turn them improper. So 5 2/3 is going to become 3 times 5 is 15, 16, 17 thirds. Dividing becomes multiplying. 2/3 becomes 3 halves. I can divide my 3 out here and get 17 halves, because 3 divided by 3 and 3 divided by 3 are both ones. 17 times 1 is 17. 1 times 2 is 2. And then I need to make it proper. 2 goes into 17 one time with 1 left over. Here, 4 halves would become 2 times 4 is 8, plus 1 is 9. I'm going to keep it dividing right now while I figure out what my improper fraction is. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 1 is 5. So that's 9 halves divided by 5/4. Now I'm going to do my second step of flipping it. So 9 halves stays the same. Dividing becomes multiplying. 5/4 becomes 4/5. I can cross simplify and divide a 2 out. So that becomes 9 over 1 times 2 over 5, which 9 times 2 is 18, 1 times 5 is 5. I can take a 5 out of 18 3 times, and I'm left with 3. So 3 3/5. Last one, 7 1/6. That becomes 6 times 7 is 42. Plus 1 is 43 over 6, divided by 12 times 2 is 24. 24 plus 7 is 31. So now I'm going to rewrite it as a multiplication. So 43/6 times 12 over 31. I can cross simplify and divide that 6 out. Now it becomes 43 over 1. 6 divided by 6 was 1. Times 12 divided by 6 is 2 over 31. So 43 times 2 is 86. 1 times 31 is 31. It is improper, so I need to make it proper. I can take a 31 out of 86 2 times. 2 times 31 is 62. So 86, take away that 62 I pulled out, and I get 24. So it's 2 and 24 over 31. So the dividing by fractions is super close to multiplying our fractions. We just have to remember we flip dividing into multiplying and flip your second fraction to its reciprocal. Only the second fraction. Sometimes people flip both. That's not going to work. You only flip the second fraction. So with that, I'm going to say goodbye for the day. Have a wonderful day.